Hey guys, welcome back to the show. This is your host, Mark Anderson. Alongside now, Sean McCorkle. How's it going, man?
It is going good, going good.
You standing out in the street?
Yes, right in the middle of the street in just basketball shorts and 40-degree weather, so it works out. I live in a nice neighborhood, though, so I don't think it'll give me any trouble.
Good stuff, man. Before we get going, I have to ask you about the interview you did with Ariel Helwani. That stuff was gold. How long did it take you to come up with some of that stuff you came out with?
It depends on which one. I've done several with Ariel. Are you talking about the Mitch-Your-Own Minute or my... I don't know.
I'm talking about the one about Brett Rogers and the kids, and yeah, that stuff was awesome, dude.
Yeah, that, believe it or not, that took about 20 minutes for me to write all those. I just looked through the recent MMA news and saw what people were in trouble or what had gone was controversial, and thought what would get me in hot water if I was still in the UFC if I said, and then just went with all those.
Nice.
So it. Yeah, I guess that's the only good part about being outside the UFC is I'm free to say whatever I want as far as talking trash and saying stuff like that. They constantly wanted me to scale it back a little bit when I was with them because it was kind of, obviously I walked the line, usually way over the line, but it's all supposed to be funny even when it's not. So it isn't meant to hurt anybody's feelings or make fun of anybody's kids getting beat up, but that was pretty funny, I thought. So.
Oh, it was good stuff. It was good stuff. And in the pro wrestling world, you'd be called a shooter.
Right, yeah, for sure. I wouldn't mind moving into the pro wrestling world with no more luck than I'm having find any fights lately. So I'm slowly starting to decide if I can't get something going, I'm probably going to have to just get like a real job like I used to have again because my goal was, just to fight and win until UFC had no choice but to give me one more shot. But I've had so many fights fall through in the past 2 or 3 months, it's absolutely ridiculous. And now I don't have anything scheduled at all till maybe mid-February. And,
oh, wow.
Yeah, I've got nothing. For, another 3 months, it's already been 2 months, or
yeah,
a month and a half anyway. So, it's like you can't fight twice a year outside the UFC and make a living. So.
Yeah. Did you ever consider a career in pro wrestling?
I did. I actually had a guy when I was 26 years old. I was lifting a lot of weights at the time. I was obviously real big already like I was, but I stopped me in an airport. He actually worked for it was a WWF, I think, at the time, before they became WWE. But I gave me his card and said if I was interested in trying out, he would be, he said I had the right look for it, and asked if I played any sports in college or anything. And obviously I played basketball. So I was always really athletic, but I told him, at the time, I had 2 little kids, that would just had a little boy and a little girl that were 4 and 1, and just told them I wasn't interested in traveling that much. Plus, I was making like $300,000 a year doing what I was doing, so wasn't, it was going to be pretty hard to pass up, running my own business, doing what I was doing to go do that. So, but I'd be, I don't know. I would think. I think it wouldn't be as hard for me now, having been in the UFC, and then some, obviously some live interview material to show them I probably even know the right people that could push me in that door. I don't know if I want to travel 250 nights a year. That's
that's
not much of a life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a lot of abuse on your body, it's not real fighting, but those guys really, really do permanent damage to their bodies, maybe more than any sport, I think. So. Yeah,
I would agree. Okay, so the nickname Big Sexy, where'd that come from?
It actually, I was originally, I called myself, my very first fight, I called myself Sean Dre the Giant, and I just thought it was funny, so I just put in for my nickname Dre the Giant, so when they read it, it would come out without the announcer noticing it, and then I would switch it every time to the Hater, just something to make people mad. I was the Tanned Adonis one time, and I was coming out one time, and the guy the announcer just announced me as Big Sexy for whatever reason, because girls always like me, I guess. So he announced me as Big Sexy when I came walking out, and I started laughing and went ahead and went with it. And then when the UFC called the next fight was for the UFC, and I just thought, what better way to get people to notice you than have like a real irritating nickname. So because people, the first thing everybody says is, "You're not even sexy," and I'm like, well, have you seen the girls I date? Because I'm doing something right.
Nice.
But,
okay, so what's your favorite nickname that you've come up with?
I think the Tanned Adonis was my favorite one, and that I don't know. I just of all nicknames, if I heard someone call, I think like you said in pro wrestling terms, I think about it, if someone was the Tanned Adonis, that fans would really hate that. I remember they hated the adorable Adrian Adonis back in the day. I don't know if they're even old enough to remember that, but yeah, that guy was awesome. But I was a big pro wrestling fan, so I try to make my fighting as close to pro wrestling as possible because if you think about it. Pro wrestling's fake, and people are paying millions of dollars to go watch some of this choreography. Can you imagine if you did everything the WWE did, but the fighting was real? How awesome that would be! So, with the theatrics and everything, and the trash talking in each other's face right before the fight, that would be. If the fights were real, that's probably your next multi-billion-dollar industry if someone did basically what the WWE does, but make the fights real.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so another term in pro wrestling is a curtain jerker. You use that nickname?
Apparently, I didn't know that when Ariel called me that. I had no idea what that was. But,
oh, really?
Yeah, it sounded kind of obscene to me when he called me the curtain jerker, and that was the first interview I ever did with him. And I told him I had never been called a curtain jerker before, and I said, "Well, not since Boy Scouts anyway."
Nice.
Silence for a second.
Where are you training right now, and how often are you training?
I've only been training. Man, I hurt my elbow real bad when I beat Justin Grizzard, I think, or Grizzard, whatever it is, October 15th. I hurt my elbow really bad when I did it, and I'm real opposed to going to the doctor because I'm an idiot. So didn't go to the doctor, just thought I would ice it and let it heal. So I'm just starting back again tomorrow. I'm going to start training at the new Integrating Fighting Academy with Matt McCorkle's going to be there, Chris Lytle. We got a little bit later this month. I think we got Pat Barry coming in, and Neil Mellinson, who's the Extreme Couture head grappling coach. So we got a really, really good group of guys that train there. So we'll start getting back into it, even though I don't have anything scheduled, and just see if I can't. I would think I've won 3 in a row outside the UFC. I would think with another 4 or 5, they got to give me another shot. I would think anyway. So that was my goal, was to get. The magic number usually is like 4 outside the UFC. Where they'll give me another shot, but I wanted to fight. My goal is to fight another 4 or 5 times in the next 5 or 6 months. And had to deal with a company called CFA in Miami that fell apart at the last minute, but I was going to fight 3 times for them in 6 months. And then I was going to put in, filler fights in that time period. I was going to do 5 in 6 months. And I figure 8 in a row outside the UFC, regardless of what the competition is, surely would give me another shot. So. For
sure. Okay. What's your weight?
Right now, probably about 305.
305?
I walk around between 300 and 310 pounds pretty much all the time. Even when I'm in shape, I'm probably about 295, 290. So the final week of the fight, I think it's Christian Warcraft and last fight in the UFC. I think I showed up out there Tuesday at 287 and made 266 in 3 days. So I cut 21 pounds in 3 days to make it, and that's the. Ideally, I'd like to fight at 305, 310 pounds. So I've been fighting at my last 3, and I feel phenomenal cardio-wise at it. I don't have to cut any weight. I don't have to do anything. I'm strong. Strong as hell when I weigh as much as I weigh now. But when I cut that much weight, and when I have to starve myself the last 4 weeks, the training camp to do it, it's just, I'm not any stronger than anybody else in there, which really sucks because it's taken away my one attribute that I have over almost everybody. I'm stronger than them. Yeah. But Matt Mitrione says it all the time. When he says all the time to me, he goes, "Man, if you could fight in the UFC at 305 pounds, you would be a dangerous dude." I said, "Yeah, I know, because he can tell the difference when we train when I'm 265 and when I'm 305. It's just, what you gain in speed does not make up for what I lose in strength." So.
Okay, so here's another one. What's your greatest accomplishment in MMA?
Oh, man. Greatest accomplishment in MMA. I would say making it to the UFC to begin with.
Yeah.
Everybody says beat Mark Hunter, this and that, but to make it to the UFC and basically kind of talk my way into it, I think is a heck of an accomplishment, because I had people believing I was, the man to beat Fedor before Fedor ever even fought. And I was taking pictures with Matt Mitrione where I stand on something to make myself about 8 inches taller, and position myself a little closer to the camera so I looked like I was an absolute giant. But first time Ben Rothwell met me, he goes, "Aren't you supposed to be like 7 foot tall or something?" And I was cracking up because I'm just a little bit bigger than Rothwell, but everything he had heard and seen online is that I was 10 foot tall, bulletproof, and all that
nice
stuff. So I guess the marketing job I did of myself is probably what I'm proud of. Or getting on the video games. I think that's awesome for my little boy. I have a little 10-year-old son who's so excited.
Yeah, I was going to mention that coming up. But first, I wanted to ask you: does it piss you off that Mark Hunt's still in the UFC and you're not?
No, not at all. I'm actually a huge fan of Hunt. and I even said it before I fought him. I didn't say one bad word about the guy before the fight. It was as dumb as it sounds, it was an honor for me to even fight him or even be linked with him in any way, and the way he's been performing, I hope they keep him around. I would love to see him and Pat Barry fight. That's a fight which I don't know if one party or the other's not interested in, but I don't understand why that fight wasn't made right away.
Yeah, for sure.
Neither guy will take each other down, and that's a fight everyone wants to see. Pat Barry and Mark Hunt, I would love to see that. And I think who they got hunted with now. Do you remember? I think it's Chet Congo, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think they're doing Congo and him, but I would love to. I'd love to see Pat Barry and Mark Hunt fight.
Yeah, that'd be a war. Maybe you need to go into matchmaking.
Yeah, no, I'll tell you what, I've got some great ideas. I did a whole thing on the internet not long ago on how to find how I would, if I were Joe Silva, how I would make what matches I would make. And first I would obviously resign myself first and foremost.
For sure.
A big contract in UFC history. And then I was saying have GSP, Nick Diaz, after they fight, I assume GSP wins, have him fight Anderson Silva. After Silva beats Chael, assuming he does again, have the winner of that fight John Jones, the winner of that fight the winner of Dos Santos, and what's his name? I assume it's probably going to be. I think Overeem's going to walk right through Lesnar. And I think Overeem will probably beat Dos Santos too. But I think if you did that, obviously as logic would have it, I think GSP loses to Anderson Silva loses to John Jones, and then John Jones versus Alistair Overeem after he just beat Anderson Silva would be the biggest fight in MMA history,
Right, yeah.
So I think it'd be a way to consecutively have 6 or 8 of the biggest fights in UFC history by, mixing up weight classes a little bit. And, if a guy like GSP moves up and fights Anderson Silva and loses, I don't think that diminishes him at all to fight a guy who's that much bigger than him. No more than Anderson Silva loses to John Jones, it diminishes him. So
right, sure.
Those are all fights everyone wants to see. But,
okay, and let's talk about the video game. What sort of experience was that?
I didn't even know I was going to be on it. They took before I fought Stefan Struve, they took me in and fought all my still frame stuff for it. But I didn't know that necessarily meant you were on the game, because the guy told me at the time they did it with almost everybody. Because they obviously don't know when the game's coming out next year if you're just going to be in the UFC. But
right.
He took all my information, all my still frame photos, pictures of my tattoos, all that stuff, and I figured after I got cut, there was no way I had a chance to be on it. So right before I got on the Ariel show, I was being a guest star on the Mitrione Minute. Right before I got on there, someone hit me on Twitter, you make it on the UFC game, sent me a picture. And I thought someone had photoshopped it. I was cracking up. I was like, yeah, I wish. And then some more and more people were confirming it, sending a link to the website and all this and that. And then when I saw it, I was really excited about it. That's I don't know, pretty cool for me. I mean, not like... Yeah,
for sure. A video game, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know if I get paid for it or not. It would really be nice to know if I got paid for it or not. But I would assume they pay you something, but I don't know. But I don't know. And everybody, the thing cracks up. Matt Mitrione apparently is not on it. No one knows why. And it has apparently become the rumor that I took Mitrione's spot, as if there were only 2 spots left. And then they chose me instead of him. That's why everybody's acting. So they're like, I can't believe you're on it. Mitrione's not. Like, yeah, there's other guys that aren't in the UFC that are on it. Like, maybe they took Mitrione's spot. Why it's got to be me? So
that's awesome. Ever considered a career in stand-up comedy?
I would if it paid more. I'm not much for working my way up. I like to start at the top and maybe work my way sideways or something. Like, I don't really want to. I always start at the bottom, and there's so many guys. I doubt I could do it. I doubt I could be a writer for. I could come up with better stuff. That's what I watched Saturday Night Live. It used to be one of my favorite shows. I would watch all the time and think, I can write a better show than this, better skits than this in 2 hours. If you just give me 2 hours, I'll write an entire better episode than this, let alone having a team of 20 writers all week,
Yeah.
So that probably was my first love. What I really would like to do for a living is some kind of, I wouldn't want to perform comedy, but writing it of some kind. But it's not exactly the easiest job to get into.
For sure.
Especially since I'm only a quarter Jewish. If I were full Jewish, I'd have a better chance, I would think, getting in Hollywood, but I'm not positive.
Big fight this weekend. Who do you think will win? Jones versus Machida, and how?
I think Jones will walk right through him as soon as he decides to. I think Jones, I'll probably outstrike him, stand up. If Jones decides to take him down, I think he'll take him down and ground pound and beat him real fast. John Jones is on a whole other level than everyone else. And I don't know that I don't know that I don't think he's the best fighter in the world. Like, I think I thought Kane would beat him before Kane got beat by Dos Santos because I thought Kane would be able to outlast him cardio-wise, but hated to see Kane lose that, by the way. Junior Dos Santos is a really nice guy. I'd love to see him win, but I really believe Kane's the better fighter out of those two guys, and I kind of always hate to see a guy who I think is better lose to a guy who's not as good, you know?
Yeah. Okay, so moving along, we're going to play the name game. I got 5 names for you. Number 1, Matt Mitrione.
Psychotic. Am I just doing a one-word response?
Yeah, one word's good.
Okay, yeah, or genuinely
whatever you want to do.
Would be better. Yeah.
Okay, Mark Hunt.
That would have been terrible if I would have said my bitch. I don't know if I'm allowed to say bitch on your radio station.
Yeah, you can, man.
Okay, all right. No. Yeah, let's go with that one. Why not? Why not talk some trash?
Stefan Struve.
That bastard. Yeah, he's the nicest guy I've ever met, but I still believe to this day if I fought Stefan Struve 10 times, I win 9 of them.
Yeah.
But,
okay. This name, you really got to think hard on a one-word answer. Jason Guida.
My hero. No. I actually said, I promised Monty Cox I would not talk trash about Jason Guida anymore because Jason Guida was, I believe, going to murder me and my family, last I heard.
Right.
Yeah, and I found out he's also genuinely crazy. So, like, you don't mess around with genuinely crazy people. So, no, the whole thing with Guida, I really started. I thought it was funny. I didn't know that he would take it so personal. Some guys, I guess, aren't as thick-skinned as me. So I've had the same thing with Jason Reinhart forever. Me and Jason Reinhart supposedly hated each other, and I met him somewhere and was cracking up. I was like, dude, it's all just a game to me. I don't really, just to be funny. But, yeah, Jason, Guida, please do not kill me and my family. I am sorry. It was all supposed to be funny.
Okay, and the last one on the list is just because the joke you made about him was so great. Brett Rogers.
Oh, gosh. Brett Rogers. Wow, I'm speechless. I'd probably say I'm sorry because that's not funny to make fun of something like that. Even though it was hilarious, it was a little overboard, you know, but at the same time, if you're going to do that, you should expect people to, you know, like I would never make fun of something someone didn't choose. If somebody was in a wheelchair, I wouldn't make fun of it, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
They choose. I guess I wouldn't say I never would make fun of it because I made a Matt Handel joke about him being deaf, and I made a hockey joke about him being Asian. So I can't say I would never make fun of it, but I try not to make fun of things that people didn't choose. But if you choose to beat up your kids and choke your wife unconscious, then I should be free to make fun of it. You know what? I think Brett Rogers and me are friends on Facebook, too, so that could get really awkward. Like, I think with the real page for Brett Rogers, I'm pretty sure we're friends on Facebook. So.
Wow.
I've never met him. But.
Last question for you. Dream matchup. Who would it be against? Anyone in MMA?
My dream matchup? I would love to have Struve back. Because, I don't have an excuse for Morecraft. He just is younger than me and get tired. But I would love to fight Struve again or Fedor. Fedor has been my favorite fighter of all time. And I always said, people thought I was stupid, and I always said forever that if I could fight anybody, I'd want to fight Fedor in his prime just to see how much better he was than me. And they're all like, oh, he'd kill you or this. I'm thinking, yeah, but what if you won? What if you threw the wild punch and won? Like, can you imagine you would be like, you have nothing to lose. There would be no pressure going into a fight like that. No, now there would be, but when he was in his prime, there's no, nobody in the world would expect you to win. So, that would be, I prefer to do that. I prefer to fight when I supposedly have no chance at all to win.
Okay, this is a question from the chat. What MMA ring girl would he date?
Which one would I date? I don't know if you guys know who Stephanie Cook is. She is not with the UFC yet. I think she eventually will be with the UFC, but she's with that Tough Enough out there in Las Vegas. One of the nicest girls. She's blonde. One of the nicest, prettiest girls I've ever met in person in my life. Or Shandella is also. Shandella is the coolest chick I've ever met in my life also. So she's really. And I've never dated a black girl, so you got to try everything.
There you go.
I dated a Brazilian before. She was mixed, so I guess I got halfway there.
Okay, anything else you'd like to promote, such as your Twitter, sponsors, website?
Yeah, my Twitter is awesome, and I can't believe I only have like 7,900 followers. That's like the funniest thing ever. But it's at Big Sexy McCorkle. And Facebook, I only have like 25 spots left on my, regular page. I'm not doing a fan page because my ego is just not big enough to do a fan page. Actually, I had a fan page for a while, and I just never got on there, so I think it fell apart. But, people just can add me. Just search me as my UFC picture because I'm still pretending like I'm in the UFC, even though I'm technically not. And by technically, I mean not at all. It still works as a great line with girls. Like, so I fight in the UFC, that's kind of a big deal in case you didn't know. And that's always my opening line.
Nice.
Or ask if I can touch their boobs. If you just say, hey, can I touch your boobs to a girl right off the bat, it works like 9 times out of 10. It's the most bizarre thing.
Really?
Yeah, and they always look at you like, what? And you say, can I touch your boobs? And like half the time they're like, I guess, and then you just do it because they don't think you'll do it, And
yeah.
you just do it, and then you just say, okay, well, the awkward part's over, and then you start talking to them. It can't be any more awkward than that. So I found that worked. And one night when I was a little bit tipsy, and I just was trying real terrible pickup lines, and
nice.
I tried that, and it worked seriously like 9 out of 10 times because I'm so shocked. Plus, you can touch their boobs.
Yeah, for sure. So we have one last question from the chat, and it is, who would win, Aldo versus Edgar?
Oh, man, I got to say Edgar.
Yeah.
If Edgar can beat DJ Penn twice, I think he can beat anybody. And I thought Maynard would kill him in their rematch. Like, I guess their third, their whatever rubber match. I thought Maynard would beat him just by being too big. But Edgar's he's on another planet, man. I can't. I wish he would go down to 145 again because I hate to see him fight. Even though he's dominated everybody at 55. I think he probably takes some unnecessary abuse, fighting guys that much bigger than him when you can dominate at your own weight class. Or go win both belts and be both champions. That would be pretty cool, too.
For sure, man. Well, thanks for taking time for us. I know your phone was screwing up, so I appreciate it.
Yeah. That's no problem. I apologize for that mix-up. Like I said, I got I'm divorced because my ex-wife is crazy, and so I got my kids tonight, and I couldn't, otherwise I'd just drive up the road and try to get a signal, but my signal was completely, no bars at all, and could not, just said no service, so. But I finally got you by standing in the middle of the street in shorts.
Awesome, man. You're dedicated. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Oh,
okay.
I'm a media attention whore. So.
Awesome. Talk to you soon, man.
All right. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Okay, see ya.